Hey everyone! I hope you all are having a great Thursday. Today I am making a baby shark cake. So I need to make little tidbits for it, like shells and seaweed and coral and all that funness. So right now I'm going to show you guys how I do my fondant seaweed. This is also how I do ribbons to put on cakes too. Super easy. Anybody can do this, and it looks awesome once it's all finished and dried. So as you can see, I have a piece of fondant here. I have cut it. It's not perfect. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's seaweed. I have cut it to where it comes down to a point and it's thicker on the top. And like I said, super duper easy. And all you need is your fondant, of course green color, and a straw. What I do is I wrap this around the straw. So you want to put it there on the bottom, get it over the edge there. Now, the idea is to go up and provide space in between each of the curls. Now, on the bottom, you kind of want to make a base. So I go over a little bit, so that way it's got a little bit of a base to work with to kind of press into the cake if I'm going to use it for like a 3D piece or something like that. So then you want to bring it up and you want to swirl it around like so and give yourself a good amount of space between each. You don't have to make it perfect because it is seaweed and seaweed is not perfect. Now when you're trying to make ribbons like this, I would be more cautious of providing the same space between each of them. So as you can see, I have my tip all the way up to the top. Now what I like to do is kind of rest it up like that, like normally how you would see seaweed like on a cake or in a picture book or something like that. I mean, normally seaweed is not very attractive in real life, but this seaweed we are trying to make pretty, if I can talk today. So that is seaweed. Bam-a-llama. And then when they all dry, I'll be able to just pop it off, which this one's not quite there yet, but I'll be able to just pop it off and it will be like that, and I can just plop it on my cake and make it look awesome sauce-ola. So that is seaweed or ribbons, depending on what you want to do and what you're making for cake-wise. I've also made a few pieces of coral. It's nothing really fancy, as you can see, and once you put them all together, they're really going to look like the coral. So, if I can make this happen. See? Kind of coral-esque once you get it all on there and make it all pretty. That's really easy too. All you really have to do is have a piece of fondant and you just roll it out. And as you can see, it could be a pain in the butt sometimes. Pressure is very important, and you can learn that over time. Practice, practice, practice. So you roll it out like so. And if you don't want the little pieces of coral, you can very well do this same thing and make it into a bigger piece of coral. So like I've rolled this out, and then I'm going to take these pieces, roll them out a little farther, give myself a little Y here. And of course you could add more down on the bottom and make it more coral-esque. That's not even a word, but it's my word. Okay. So this will give you an idea of how to do it. And so what I do from this point, I find something with a rounded edge, which I have a one of my brushes here and has a rounded edge there. You can also use, see if I can actually broccoli. Okay. That is currently incognito right now. I don't know where that piece went. But I have this plastic, it kind of looks like a pencil thing. That works too. But I also have this handy dandy tool. These can be used for flowers, to smooth out flowers and stuff like that. And you can use this. Now this is a little big, so I wouldn't recommend that. We'll just go back to using this. And so what you want to do is get your edge flat. Make sure it's kind of flat, so that when you go take the end of your brush, you're not really messing up and like just pushing it down and not creating the hole that you're looking for. I should have made this a little bigger, but I don't know if you see that. Got the little hole, so it just kind of creates a cool natural coral effect. This is just a sad piece of coral. It's sad, but you guys get the idea. I like to use the smaller pieces and like I'll bunch them together to kind of make it look like coral, and I'll put it down on the bottom. I also like to make a star, so I can make a starfish, and you could also put your lines on the starfish to make it more realistic. And basically just go across the star from the middle, from the middle down, or from the middle to the edge. Kind of how you would see the inside of a starfish. Just remember, starfish are not perfect. It does not need to be perfect. Perfection does not exist. Okay, so I've got my lines on my starfish. He's got his lines and that oopsie lines I did, because I don't know what I was thinking. We got your lines, and then, like I said, pokey tool. You could take that guy right there and add a little bit more detail to your starfish to make him more like a starfish instead of just a star. These little tidbits will just make it more realistic, make it like, oh yeah, that's a starfish, that's not just a star. But it would make sense that it's starfish just because it's some type of cake it is. But you never know in this crazy world we live in. Be careful with this thing because it is pretty sharp. It will poke. I normally have a little lid for it. Okay, and so I put my holes in there. Can you see? Yeah, I kind of see. Put my holes in there so it looks more starfish. And I also want to show you guys how to make some basic shells. Not using a cutter. I use a tip so I can use its, that was too thin. Shells, you want a certain thickness. You don't want them to be too thin, so that way you can give them more of a rounded look. So, let's be a little bit. I've got, it's the 2A tip. It's got the I can't talk today. It's got basic, like a basic big drawing tip, basically. But this is, used mostly to frost cupcakes, to put like a dollop on the top of the cupcakes instead of doing swirls or anything. And you can use it for swirls. Great for poop cupcakes. If you're ever making poop cupcakes, it's great. Okay, back to the task at hand. So I'm going to use this end here, and I'm going to cut out a circle. Woo, fantastic. Dropping things. So I'm going to cut out a circle, and as you can see, that sucker doesn't want to come out. So we're just going to poke down like so and get it out. So now I have a circle. And so what you do to make this into a shell, like a clam shell, just want to pinch the end of it like so and pinch it together like that. And now you have a little shell. And I mean, of course, you can round it off a little bit, make it a little better. It doesn't have to be so pointy. See? And then you can also add your lines if you'd like so. And bam-a-lama. There you guys go.